Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here to break down the two-game TBT basketball tournament slate here on Tuesday for Draftkings. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos breaking out NBA, NFL, PGA, and esports data fantasy sports slates. Esports including Call of Duty, League of Legends, and Counter-Strike CSGO. Also, just again, I wanted to say thank you guys for all support. We're at 3.42 thousand subscribers on YouTube. The easiest way to support me right now, since it's all free content, leave a like button, hit that subscribe button, and the notification bell as well. Those things, again, help me out to continue to grow this channel. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcast, a 5-star rating and review would be greatly appreciated. And then also, the slate from Monday was a little bit disappointing. I made my video for the two-game slate, and like right after that, I got announced that one of the games, or one of the teams had to drop out because of COVID, so it was only a showdown slate. So that was a little bit disappointing, but hopefully we get to see two games tomorrow for this slate. So, yeah, let's jump into the video. If you guys are not familiar with TBT or the basketball tournament, it's $1 million winner-take-all tournament with a bunch of players from. You'll see a few former, fringe NBA players, some G League players, and a lot of players have played overseas. But a lot of these names, if you follow college basketball, you will recognize these guys from previous years. All right, so let's start with the first game here. We have Sideline Cancer versus Team Challenge ALS. We have these games are earlier today, a 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. game. Let's start with let's start with Sideline Cancer first here. We already got to see them play, which is a little bit, of an advantage because we know generally how the rotation's going to go, how minutes are going to go, kind of where production's going to come from. So they have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 man roster. Looks like only 7 guys played though, right? The bottom 2 guys don't have anything. I mean, sure, they could have played a minute or two here, not got any stats, but that's pretty good. And Diamond Stoned, I'm a big Big Ten guy, so I recognize him from Maryland. I played him actually, what was it, whenever they played last, a couple games ago. He shot the ball amazing from the three-point line. I don't know if you guys, any of you guys watched that, but he looked really good. Normally, he's just a guy that, stood around the post, got a bunch of rebounds, but he stepped out and hit some threes. So that was obviously good to see. He's coming at 5.6K. I like that a lot. You also have Marcus Keene from Central Michigan. Huge, big score when he played. Had an enormous day there, 29, 6, and 6. But let's take a look at some of these stats here for this team the last game out. So, right, Marcus Keene clearly stood out, 29, 6, and 6. He scored the ball and did other things, assisted, rebounded. So that's obviously very good to see. Again, Diamond Stone got hot behind the three-point line, but still 19 and 6 with a couple blocks. Again, looks pretty good. Abel had 17 and 3. You had Mo Creek at 13 and 4. So those are some of the guys that kind of stood out if you're just looking at the stats from the last game. If you look at the minutes, a couple of good things to see here. Again, Marcus Keene, 31 minutes. Diamond Stone, about 27 minutes. That's very good for a big guy. So looking at the prices again for this team, Diamond Stone really stands out at 5.6K. Now, sure, he had a pretty good day shooting the ball from 3. Probably not going to do that again, but I like targeting the bigs. They have a higher floor. I think he's definitely one of my favorite plays there at that price. Again, I think you got to have consideration for Marcus Keene as well. He's just a guy that's going to do it all for this team. Yeah, 29, 6, and 6. He was a big scorer in college. I think he averaged 35 and 5, so about what he had in this game. So those are my 2 favorite plays here. I think a guy, Jamel Artis, at 5.6K looks pretty decent. He, didn't have a great game. Where did he finish with? 7, 2, and 5. Not amazing, but I think he is one of the better players in this roster. And he got some good minutes, too. Now, he was 3rd in the team in minutes in a little over 26 minutes. So that stands out. Small forwards usually are a pretty weak position. So a guy like Jamel Artis is does look like a pretty good play there. You have Eric Thompson at 4.6K. He did not crack the top 5 in minutes. Right, you had 5 guys that played a good amount. So he's probably not a guy that's going to play huge minutes, maybe unless Diamond Stone gets in foul trouble. But when he was out there, he was pretty productive, right? And bigs usually have the highest floor. Don't know how many minutes played exactly, but 4 points, 10 boards, 3 blocks, a steal. I think he's in play as value. Definitely not my favorite value play, but yeah, I think that's really the breakdown there for Sideline Cancer. If we move on to Team Challenge ALS, so honestly, this is a team I'm not super familiar with. We can go ahead and go over to their roster. Where did I put them? Here we go. So we have a lot of guys from lesser-known colleges. So we have Sean Marshall is the most expensive, 7.9K. He was a former Boston College player. Then you had, Jalen Bland from Cal Riverside, Stefan Branch from University of West Georgia, right? So a lot of smaller known colleges where, again, I'm not super familiar with a lot of these guys, just to be honest. So I think what I'm going to do with this team right now is do a kind of wait-and-see approach. I want to see what they do with the starting lineup. I'm probably going to dig into these players a little bit more. And if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, it's important to do so. It's in the description below. If I find out, a couple more things, or who I think was going to be starters, who I think could, kind of lead the team in usage, I'll give that away on Twitter. So again, it's definitely important to follow me on Twitter. Right now on Draftkings, at least they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players on the roster. So a good size roster, right? So yeah, this will be a team that it'll probably be a wait and see approach. I want to see who the starters are. I'll probably need to do a little bit more digging on some of these guys since they are from lesser known colleges. But let's now move on to the last game here, and we have the Men of Mackey, which is a bunch of Purdue alumni versus Bayham's Army, Syracuse, right? So this one should be pretty fun to watch. Let's start with the Men of Mackey here. So we have some stats from here, their last game as well. You had Justin Detman just went off. Great shooting day for him. 32 points, 2 assists, and 1 board. So sure, he hit again a really good shooting day, but didn't do a whole lot of the peripheral stats, I guess. And Isaac Haas, the big guy from Purdue, I think like 7'3". He played a good amount of minutes. He had a double-double. Where's his price at? He's coming at 6.6K. He was, I think, 7.6K that last slate. 7.7. The price dropped in him. So I like that a good amount. Again, I want to target as many bigs as I can. Bigs and point guards because they have the highest floor. So I like Isaac Haas. And one of my favorite, if not my favorite play of the slate for his price, Jonathan Octius. At 5.2K, I think that looks really good. He went 6, 6, and 6, right? So he's a guy that's going to kind of do it all, a point guard. He played big minutes for this team, too. He led the team in minutes at about 31 minutes, so that looks really good. Again, Isaac Haas, another guy I mentioned, and then, again, Justin Detman went off shooting the ball. Yeah, like Evan Boudreau is a guy that can get hot behind the three-point line, but didn't play as many minutes. Frank Gaines played about 30 minutes. Not the highest usage guy, right? He finished 9, 2, and 1. Where's his price at? He's coming in at 4.9K. So, yeah, sure, you can make an argument there. But really the guys that stand out the most to me are definitely Isaac Haas and Jonathan Octius, and obviously Detman too, but don't know if you can expect him to shoot that well again. Kind of like, with Nate Mason today. He had a great shooting day the previous game and just could not hit the broadside of a barn today. Very frustrating, but I'm not, super mad about that recommendation because he was a guy that kind of did do it all, assists, rebounds, got some steals in there, just had a terrible shooting day. And for some reason, I didn't get to watch the first half. I came back and watched the second half of the game. For some reason, Nate Mason only shot the ball 1 time in the first half, which, again, I didn't watch it, so I don't know, but that is a little bit tilting for sure. But yeah, that was from the previous, the Showdown slate. So if you look at this roster, right, you can see that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players played. So definitely a deeper roster. But again, the guys I look to the most here are Isaac Haas, Jonathan Octius are definitely my 2 favorite plays. I think you could make an argument for Boudreau. He can get behind the three-point line at 4.8K. Gaines played a good amount of minutes at 4.9K. Another viable, cheap option. Detman, I think, is still in play because he really carried this roster the first time, but can you expect him to shoot that well again? Right? So That's kind of the breakdown there. Let's now move on to Boeheim's Army. So a lot. I think all former Syracuse players. Let's see. Yes, I'm pretty sure all these guys. Scroll down. Oh, one guy from Colgate. But basically everyone else from Syracuse. So a couple guys that stand out to me. Malachi Richardson. Played a little bit in the NBA. I think he's the most expensive. Yeah, 8.2K. He's the most expensive player. You have Brandon Trish. Was a guy that I remember from Syracuse. He's a guy that can definitely get hot behind the three-point line. A very, very good shooter. He's coming in at 7K. And then you have Eric Devendorf, another name I recognize from back in the day. Another really, really good shooter. He's also coming in at 7.5K. So, sure, we haven't seen this team play yet. What I did was I actually Google searched, tried to find some stats on this team from last year. This is from 2019, and you had Eric Devendorf was the captain. He played the most minutes at almost 29. Shot the ball 8 of 10, had 20 points. Yeah, again, he's a guy that can really light it up from 3. A lot of these other guys are not on the roster this year, but just thought I would mention that the Devendorf was the guy that, at least in this game, he had the big game, and he played the most minutes. So I think right now it's those top 3 guys for me, but one of my favorite value plays, probably my favorite value play, is Chris McCullough. He's a guy that did play a little bit in the NBA, and he is a guy that can put up fancy points in a very short amount of time. So I love Chris McCullough if he's going to be on the active roster and if he's going to play. Now, if he starts, I think he's an automatic play. But even if he comes off the bench, I think he's a certainly viable option. The risk of him coming off the bench is there are a few players that if they don't start, they won't play at all, right? So that is a slight risk if Chris McCullough doesn't start. But if he just gets minutes, like this guy can crush it in a short amount of time. So just thought I'd bring that up. I really like him, especially if he starts. But yeah, there'll probably be those top 3 guys and Chris McCullough for me for Boeheim's Army. But again, I do want to see a starting lineup. I think the guys that have the most upside would probably be Devendorf and Trish just because they can get hot behind the three-point line. But again, Malachi Richardson is probably a do-it-all guard. So that's where my interest lies. But we do, again, I'm interested to see what the starting lineup is when they post it tomorrow. Usually the basketball tournament will post rosters and starting lineups about an hour, 2 hours before game time. So I'll do my best to repost that on Twitter and kind of give my thoughts again. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter. It's in the description below. It's just DK__DFS. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for today's video, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content so far, again, if you could like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notification bell on YouTube, and leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcast. Those things do help me out as I continue to put out free content for you guys every single day. If you guys are interested in CSGO, I already uploaded my video for the 2-game slate for that. PGA, guys, I will have a video up tomorrow. I'm working on my spreadsheet now. I had a very good weekend last weekend. Looking to keep it going for this weekend as well. So, and also Call of Duty, guys, we have a slate this weekend. So I'm going to have a lot of pumping out videos for you guys, probably at least 2 a day, maybe even 3 a day for different sports, esports, stuff like that. But thanks again, guys. Hope you guys all have a good night, and I will see you all in the next video.